record this webinar, guys, it will be found at my YouTube channel, okay? So welcome to another edition of the TCC New Way Earners Weekly Webinar. I'll be co-hosting this webinar. My name's John Riley, and my co-host today will be Dave Ireland, the man with the plan. So we're here today to talk about disruptions, and more specifically, one disruption. Let's talk a little bit about what a disruption is. So we can think of it as a disturbance or a problem that interrupts an event, activity, or process, right? That's the definition. But when we're talking about industries, when we're talking about the world, human beings, the way that we interact with each other, really what a disruption is, it's something that interrupts a value chain. A value chain is basically a reason that why people will pay for a service, a convenience, something such as Uber, right? Something that is a disruption to the taxi industry. We talk about the internet. We talk about Netflix being disruptive to the video rental industry. All sorts of disruptive technologies we can see coming up over the past several decades. Some other disruptions we can look at is TV, internet, email, mobile phones, right? How many of us would probably get a little bit panicked if our mobile phone broke? We'll be in the Apple store, we'll be at the Verizon store within a matter of minutes. Everything in our day will cease until we get our mobile phone fixed, because that is something that we are now almost dependent on. And I don't see that as a negative thing. I just see that as evolution, right? It's the evolution of how we interact with each other. E-commerce, which is what we're going to talk about today with this TradeCoin Club platform. Social media, guys, how many of you swore you'd never get a Facebook account? And today, Facebook is one of the major catalysts to supplying you with residual income, right? Because we use Facebook to do our business. We use Facebook to interact with people all around. So I'm going to go ahead and just swipe over here to make sure that you guys can hear me. Let me just go down the line. If you can give me a thumbs up. Adam, I see you on the screen. Thank you. Loud and clear, everybody? Okay, good. I did a presentation the other day, and I was talking for about 15 minutes, and I was not sharing my screen, so now I'm paranoid. All right, so let's keep moving on here. So those are some disruptions that maybe you guys, swore you'd never conform to. I was someone who was not really interested in Facebook up until several years ago when I started traveling throughout Central America, and I decided, okay, I'll get a Facebook because it's going to be a way for me to keep in touch with my family. But what is that a perfect example of, guys? It's a perfect example of how if you want to be relevant, right, if you want to continue providing value, which is how we get compensated in this world, we provide a value or a service, and we get compensated for that. If it's something that we love or that we're passionate about, I believe that's the best possible place to be in, right? To be able to share and provide a value or service to people that you're passionate about and then get compensated for that. So you're really helping others and you're helping yourself at the same time. So that shows us why it's really important to not just think of it as conforming, but think of it as being part of the evolution. So some of you might be thinking about Bitcoin, and maybe you've been recently introduced to Bitcoin. You're asking yourself, well, I don't understand Bitcoin, right? How does it have any value? It's just a number. It's just some sort of digital number that people send back and forth. I don't really understand it. Well, really, when we talk about value, there's context that you might be ignoring. And I hadn't thought about this up until years ago when I started learning more about the monetary system and fractional reserve lending and the Federal Reserve cartel, which basically creates money for us and decides when our money is going to be worth more and if it's going to be worth less. And pretty much they control everything, right? So value was something I hadn't thought about. All I knew was that I could take a $20 bill and I could go down the street and I could get something in exchange for that $20 bill. So I thought in my mind, well, the $20 bill has value. And it does. It does have value, right? I know a lot of people say, fiat currency is worthless. Well, really, it's not worthless because we can use it. It has a usability aspect of value that's attached to it for the time being. For the time being, okay? So looking at value is something that's very relative. We have a $20 bill and we have a 1 ounce silver round, right? Comparable in value when it comes to dollar. But if I asked you which one of these is more value, I'm sure we could spend 30 minutes having a heated debate, which I would truly enjoy. because I would be able to see both sides of this argument. Well, the $20 bill has more value when it comes to usability, right? Because we can walk down the street and we can spend it, right? But in terms of a store of value, something that will hold value over time, precious metals tend to be more valuable in that aspect. So it's all relative, guys. So you look at this funny cartoon and the kid's saying, well, this puddle's deep, and the dad's saying, no, it's not. Not a problem, son. It's only up to my ankles. So relativity. Value is very much in the eye of the receiver. And we have these questions we can start asking. What constitutes value? What creates value, right? Perspective and agreement is a big part of that. The larger the agreement, the more stable the value, which means that the larger the amount of people that agree on that something has value, like we look at what happens with fiat currencies currently, right? We look at what's happening with Bitcoin. It's been very stable over the past few months. We notice it's been sticking right around the $2,500 mark for quite a while now, which is pretty cool and pretty exciting to me. And we can see that value is more stable the larger the amount of people that agree on that value. And that's one aspect. I'm sure very insightful people like Adam Abraham and Dave Ireland would tell me, well, John, there are other things that contribute to value. And I would say, I'm sure there are. But this is just to get you guys thinking about when you say something like Bitcoin has no value. Well, when you're spending your credit card, when you're swiping that card, do you think there are people behind the scenes that are literally taking your dollars and moving it from one location to the other? Absolutely not. It's just a number on a computer screen. But Bitcoin has many more properties that are much more valuable in terms of usability and a store of value, and that's what really gets people excited. So if you want to hang on to your dollars and you want to just store them under your mattress, right? We've heard the phrase "cash is king." That's very much debatable these days. When you look at fiat currencies, you're betting on a 0% success rate. There have been hundreds and hundreds of paper fiat currencies that have come, and not a single one of them has survived. That's a 0% success rate, guys. So when you're talking about the purchasing power of the dollar, right? It's not so much value, but really what it is it's purchasing power. So we get a lot less for a lot more, and that's what we're seeing. As opposed to when I started with Trade Coin Club, and I was getting paid in Bitcoin, and it was valued at just over $900 in January. Those same Bitcoins that I got paid for in January that were valued at $900 are now valued at $2,600. Pretty cool, right? So the value of what I was getting paid in tripled, whereas the value of what a lot of other people were getting paid in has gone down in purchasing power. So something to think about when you talk about, participating in a platform where you can earn Bitcoin on a daily basis. Bitcoin's the largest returning investment in a 4-year period ever. I just had someone tell me that, I introduced someone to Bitcoin, they went to their financial advisor, and their financial advisor said, don't touch Bitcoin, stay away from it. Too volatile, right? Too volatile. Well, I would kind of question the financial advisor, not that I'm more knowledgeable in his world, but I would ask him, if you had given that person the opposite advice just earlier this year, you may have turned their 40-year retirement plan into a 2-year retirement plan. How do you feel about that? That you've been telling people to stay away from Bitcoin, yet that person could have consolidated their 40-year retirement plan into a couple of years, right? So why should I listen to you today if you were completely flat out wrong yesterday? Well, that's a question for that person to go back to their financial advisor and ask them. So why in an instant and digital world do we still have to wait days and pay $700 billion a year, roughly, in fees, those are called remittance fees, to just exchange our own money that's already been taxed and been taxed and been taxed and been taxed 40 times over in this never-ending revolving door of taxation that we live in? So why do we have to pay again just to send that money back and forth? Well, because banking is a business, right? And it's a business that's being vetted much more recently because we have the internet, which is the free exchange of information, right? So the information is not controlled just by the mainstream media anymore. We're able to exchange information all throughout the world, which is making people come to conclusions that just maybe 10 years ago they would have thought crazy. They would have said, well, I'm a complete, what's the word when people are thinking about crazy conspiracy theorists, right? they would have said, you're a conspiracy theorist. Now, let's see, what was conspiracy just a decade ago is now more becoming common knowledge when it comes to these scams that pretty much control these archaic systems that are currently running the world. Crash of 2008 led to the birth of the blockchain fintech, that stands for financial technology, and the world's first commercialized cryptocurrency, and that is Bitcoin. What is cryptocurrency? Some people call it digital currency. Some people call it digital gold. I really like digital gold. I just think it's a cool word. The reason I like digital gold is because they share the property of having a store of value, which means that you can hold it, and it will be something that people see safe in order to store their value. So it's not losing value, and it stays consistent with all the inflation over the years. So it just means digital currency. It's a medium of exchange, just like normal currencies. And it's designed really for the purpose of exchanging digital information, right? One of the underlying technology is obviously the blockchain technology, but one of the ways we can use that blockchain technology is with cryptocurrency. So that's really something to understand. It's not just money, right? It's not just exchanging value. This blockchain technology, which is the underlying technology, is going to be used for all sorts of things to revolutionize industries that we can't even fathom right now. What it's actually going to do for the world, for the betterment, right? So it's made possible by a principle that's called cryptography. Very, very safe, and it's just very, very similar to storing your money in a safe. But instead of storing your money in one safe, you're storing your money in 1,000 different safes all over the world. And if it were to get broken into, the culprit would have to break into 1,000 safes, all 1,000 of those safes simultaneously in order to actually crack the code. So it's very secure, much, much more secure than credit cards and all the systems we have in place today. So let's just make sure we understand that. It is very safe. It's not to say that people don't lose their passwords. People are careless with their passwords, things like that do happen. But cryptography is top of the line when it comes to security. They have things called ledgers. One of the ledgers that I have is called a NanoS ledger. You can store your Bitcoin on a ledger and have it completely off the airwaves, so it's not accessible to anybody unless they had the passcode to your ledger. And then they have multi verification processes that even if the person breaks through one layer and steals your password, they'd have to have your cell phone on them personally in order to reply to a text message, cool things like that. So it is very secure, and nothing is able to be said to be 100% secure, right? You can never say that, because then something happens where somebody does steal a password or something, and then somebody comes to you and says, I thought you told me it was 100% secure, right? The security of your Bitcoin is up to you. You know, that's really something that you need to look into and understand how to make that process more powerful. So let's go to the next slide. You know, I have this slide because right now this is just a couple of people that are big proponents of Bitcoin. You know, look at what Bill Gates says. In the future, financial transactions will be digital, universal, and almost free. So we see a lot of reputable investors and billionaires and CEOs and financial gurus that are coming out of the woodwork now that are investing in Bitcoin, right? I read an article today that said Bitcoin is cannibalizing gold, right? The value of gold. You know, people that are holding on to gold and silver, you know, I have silver myself. I love precious metals, but at the same time, I wouldn't just sit on that for so long without considering diversifying, because what we have happening is a digital gold rush. And when you don't think about the possibilities of what technology can do and what it can do to transcend other stores of value that people have been sitting around and waiting on the gold to go up. One of these days, man, gold's going to go up. Once the world comes crashing down, well, how do you know Bitcoin's not going to be the safe haven when the world comes crashing down, right? So let's not overlook that. Let's be smart about it, and let's diversify. Some of the awesome properties, we have traits of money. It's pretty cool. You look at gold and fiat, you see a lot of these are shared. You'll see that some down here, gold sovereignty, which means government issued, is low. decentralized is low, and programmable. Of course, gold's not programmable, and either is fiat, right? Some of the divisibility and the durability of fiat is moderate, while gold is more durable, and they share some of the similar properties. Easily transactable, right? We talk about gold. I gave the example of silver earlier. You know, you can't just go around and walk down the street and spend a silver round. You might be able to if you have a local shop and they're willing to take it, but you know, really it's not nearly as easy for transactions, whereas fiat currency is very high. It's much more convenient to spend. Okay, portability, gold's a little bit lower, right? It's heavier, tougher to move, costs more money to transport, whereas, you know, fiat currency is pretty high. Sorry about that. So look at Bitcoin, guys, though, and cryptocurrencies, right? Knocks it out of the park with all of these properties, all of these traits, except for one, and that's government issued, until we have the Fed coin come out, which will be the government's way to try to spin the positivity lately of cryptocurrency and basically convince you that they should have a money that's completely programmable so they can control us even more. But anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, you'll notice that the government issued the sovereignty of cryptocurrency very low. So some people would consider that a good thing. Some people would not like that because they're obsessed with the idea of well, is it insured and what happens? And you know, nobody's telling you to put your entire life savings into Bitcoin, but if you're not willing to diversify and trust the evolution that's happening, because it's happening rapidly, you're gonna miss the boat. Cryptocurrency is mined or it's traded, right? There's a couple different ways you can profit from cryptocurrency. You know, because it's finite, like gold and silver, finite basically just means there's only a certain amount of each digital currency that can be created. With gold, you know, sometimes that finiteness expands because they discover new mines or whatever sources of gold and silver. But, you know, at the end of the day, there's only so much gold that's on the earth, and there's only so much Bitcoin that's able to be in circulation. So that means that when more and more people are buying Bitcoin, when more and more people are exchanging Bitcoin, the value tends to respond to that because the supply is not being increased per the value, for the demand, sorry. So, you know, we have algorithms and solutions. It's a little bit complicated. If you think you're a Bitcoin guru, maybe you are compared to me, I don't know, but there are very, very smart people that have studied Bitcoin for years and years. One of the gentlemen that I love is Andreas Antonopoulos, and you know, he was obsessed with Bitcoin when he first read the white paper. He spent months, he almost got a divorce, it almost ruined his marriage. A very, very smart guy, and he came out of there thinking that he only understood 1% of Bitcoin, of the technology, the blockchain technology. So if you think you're a guru, you know, it's all relative. You might be compared to me, but you might not be compared to Andreas Antonopoulos. So miners need expensive software, guys, computers. Right now, if you want to mine Bitcoin independently, you have to spend millions of dollars on hardware, and it's pretty crazy. So I like the trading aspect. There are other mining opportunities that are coming up where people participate together, right? And they cut that cost down, and that's really, really interesting. But here today, we're talking about trading, which is a really incredible opportunity right now in the digital currency space. There are hundreds of other cryptocurrencies out there that have been created, okay? So let's be clear about that. It's not just one or two. If you've been introduced to like an ICO, right, like a coin that isn't publicly traded yet, you know, keep in mind that it's not, I wouldn't personally put all of my eggs in one basket. So if you're waiting on one coin to hit the market, or you're not considering diversification, you know, at this time, I would personally not be a big fan of that approach. You know, I really think it's important to understand that, you know, diversifying is important. And with the TradeCoin Club platform, we're able to get Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin through trading or through team building on a daily basis. And then we can take that Bitcoin, and if we want to, we can invest in other digital currencies, which is really cool. So a lot of these digital currencies are worth nothing. There's hundreds and hundreds of them that have very little value, very little volume throughout the day. But trading, you know, make no mistake, trading is, I would say, one of the most powerful ways to profit from this digital gold rush. And that's what I believe we're standing in front of right now, is a digital gold rush. there is going to be a movement of the masses from fiat into digital currency, and this is going to make more millionaires and billionaires than any other wealth transfer I believe we've seen in the history of humankind. So if that doesn't get you excited, then go back to sleep, please, and maybe check a pulse. But anyways, passive trading opportunities, guys, have just as much to do with how much time we can trade for a return as how much capital we trade for returns, right? So when we look at something like today, we're going to be discussing TradeCoin Club, it's really important to consider how much time do you want to spend, right? So if you're someone who has very little time to spare right now, then I believe TradeCoin Club is going to be an incredible opportunity for you. Because at the end of the day, it's about the simplicity and the amount of time you want to spend. Now, there are other opportunities within this platform when it comes to the business side, and we'll talk about that as well. But when you're looking at this, it's really important not to look at just the numbers of what the company's doing, but to really think about how much time you have to spend on a platform that's been being created for several years now, and they've spent a lot of money trying to put this platform together. And now you get to come in here and spend 30 seconds once a week and get some nice returns. I think that's a good deal because it's all about time, and time is the most valuable asset we have in this short life. That's my belief. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and unmute Mr. Dave Ireland. Dave, are you with us?
Yeah, I think so. Did you
right.
get unmuted?
Yeah, you're unmuted. I can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent. I thought maybe I had to do something on my end.
Yeah, no, you're good. I took the controls over, so you're with us now. But guys, I want to introduce you to Dave Ireland, and I'm just going to let him give you a little bit about his background, and then what I want to do is ask Dave a few questions, so you guys can hear a different perspective from somebody who I believe is very, very credible, and somebody who has experience with investing and has a lot of experience now with the TradeCoin Club platform as well. So, Dave, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself for us, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, be more than happy to. I come out of the corporate world, John, as you know. I spent 27 years at Eastman Kodak Company, and retired back in 1992. When I retired, I was director of international finance for one of their divisions. But I approach this a little bit different, probably from most people. I'm basically an investor more than a trader. I've been investing most of my adult life. I bought my first stocks in 1965. Of course, it was Eastman Kodak Company. I bought my first call option in 1966. I paid $300 for a call option on Sharon Steel. And it was a 3-month call option, and I lost every penny. But I learned, and that's what we do. We learn from our mistakes, hopefully. At least that's what I've been doing for 73 years. And I've made a few mistakes along the way. But I learned you never buy call options or put options. You sell them. So that's basically what I do. As a sort of a retirement day job. I sell put and call options. I've developed a neat approach with vertical spreads. I love iron condors. I use a delta neutral, gamma neutral swing trading technique. It's based on the RSI and the MACD lines, and it works really well, but not anywhere near as well as the TCC trading platform that John introduced me to back in January. But here's the really good news. With TCC, you don't have to understand anything about MACD lines, anything about TCC. Basically, as John said, you push a button once a week, and they do all the trading for us, and we just sit back and collect our profits every day based on the trading algorithms that they're using. But John, that's kind of enough about me. You said you had some questions for me?
Yeah, okay. Well, first of all, thanks, Dave. I appreciate you giving your background. It always impresses me. And, I like having you on here. So we appreciate.
I like being here.
Yeah, we appreciate your time. I know some people have been reaching out to Dave, and he's a very open door policy kind of guy. So, he's a busy guy too. But if you guys do want to reach out and kind of spend some time getting to know Dave. He's always open to that. He loves dealing with people and helping people. So, and that's how we do it here in our community. So, we're all in this together.
Yeah, and I'm retired, John, so I don't have anything to do. But more I think about it, I remember how I ever had time to go to work at Kodak. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. I've come to the point where I don't think I could go back to my job right now. If I had to do something, it would be involved something door to door, because I don't think I could sit at a desk right now at this point. I'm too conditioned in this entrepreneurial space. It's pretty fun.
Sorry, but Fuller Brush went out of business.
Yeah.
Disruptive technology got to it.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, let's talk a little bit about trading, because, we're here to talk about TradeCoin Club. And bear in mind, guys, TradeCoin Club is one platform. But the thing I love about it is that it has multiple potential streams of income inside of one platform. We've all heard the phrase that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income, right? Well, TCC just about meets that quota, which I really love. But, before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about your opinion, Dave, when you talk about trading. Like, if somebody just asked you, Dave, what is trading? How would you answer that question from your perspective?
Well, I would really start with explaining what investing is, because almost everybody can grasp the concept of investing, and then that will lead us right into the answer or to the question you're really asking. But investing is when you buy assets, whether they're stocks, bonds, property, gold, silver, and you kind of hang on to them. And then later on, maybe in your retirement years, but later on in life, you wind up cashing in and using those assets to fund a enjoyable life. And you may do it even a little bit sooner. But there are things that you kind of hang on to. Probably the best known investor in our society is a gentleman by the name of Warren Buffett. Now, trading is different. Traders, they buy today with the idea they're going to sell fairly soon. And they might buy the same kind of assets, stocks, bonds, flip a house, gold, silver, whatever the case may be. But their objectives might be, buy at 20, sell at 25, make a nice $5 profit, and move on to the next step. But then there's day traders, and they're a little bit different, John. They're trading like every day. They don't, hang around for 2-3 months or 2-3 weeks. They buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon, or maybe even buy and sell an hour later, or maybe buy in the afternoon and sell the next day. And they're just looking for small profits, nothing really big. But if they do a lot of these, they can make a pretty nice income by doing what's called day trading. Now, TCC does something a little bit more involved, and TCC is the TradeCoin Club, and it's a membership club that we can join, and we've all joined it. And what TCC is doing is taking advantage of something that started on Wall Street back 2008 or so, and they do high frequency trading. And in place of trading like daily, they're trading like every second, every moment. And they basically do thousands of trades a day. And they're not looking for big profits. They're looking for, to make pennies or maybe even fractions of pennies. But when you're doing thousands of these a day, John, the money can come in pretty nicely. And that's what we've been experiencing, you and I and Matt and all the other folks that have been trading with TCC for the last few months. They're doing a really, really good job. But again, it's all about small stuff. None of this, hanging on to it for 4 or 5 hours or even 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 months. So does that help explain a little bit about what trading is really focused on, especially with TCC and the high frequency trading that they do?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this software? We talk about this proprietary software, and what are the benefits to having the robot trading over just having a human being doing the trading? You still with us, Dave? I lost you, Dave. Let me see if I got Dave still with us here. Sorry, guys. Pardon the interruption.
When the hedge funds started using this back around 2008, 2009 on Wall Street, they were knocking down returns of 100, 150% a year.
Okay.
And basically what the TCC people do, and it's really a separate company that works with TCC that does the trading. It's called Trade by Trade. And they've taken this concept off of Wall Street and moved it into the cryptocurrency area. And it's really a brilliant move on their part, because they realize that, it's nothing but a different market, but it's still the same idea. You're buying and selling. So they've just taken the software, adapted it to the cryptocurrency world, and there's exchanges out there just like the Wall Street exchanges, NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange and Hong Kong Exchange, the London Exchange. There's probably 15 or 20 well-known cryptocurrency exchanges that trade cryptocurrencies. And we'll get into this a little bit later, but what I really like about TCC is they're not just trading Bitcoin. They recognize the diversity is beneficial, so they trade the top 10 cryptocurrencies with their very, very sophisticated software. And it seems to be working well, and I'm pretty pleased with my results.
And actually, they have increased that now. They're I don't know if it's actually what they're trading now, but they do intend on trading the top 30 now. So
excellent. Excellent.
There's a lot of volume moving into the other digital currencies now, and it's really smart on Trade by Trade's part to make sure that they're not passing that up. So would you agree on that? With there's more volume moving into some of the top 20, 30 now. We're seeing that.
Yeah, and on a couple calls, I've mentioned a company here in Austin, Texas, that's developing a mutual fund of the top 25 cryptocurrencies.
Wow!
But you have to have liquidity, and before the top 10 probably was 90% of the liquidity in the cryptocurrency market. But as you've indicated, there's more and more cryptocurrencies coming on board. They're getting more and more popular, and there's more liquidity. So I'm really pleased to hear that that they're doing that. Because when I go down to Belize, that's one of the suggestions I was going to give them. Hey, let's broaden this thing out. Let's get to 25. Well, they're ahead of me as usual. They're now at 30.
It just means how fast you can, how easy it is to sell at the market value. Would that be a good definition of liquidity? Or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
It's spot on.
Perfect. All right. So we talked a little bit about TCC, and I think pretty much at this point, I don't really have any other questions for you, Dave. You've covered it pretty well. And I'll take it from here.
Okay, fair enough.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. All right. So, guys, we'll take questions at the end. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and type it in the chat box, and we'll keep going. All right, we're gonna go through this really quickly so we can be done within the hour, just like we try to do, 45 minutes to an hour. So let's get this going. So who is TCC? So what TCC, which stands for Trade Coin Club, is the membership club, which has a marketing arm, which is pretty much perpetuated by its members if they choose to participate in that, of Trade by Trade, which is the trading company that provides the auto trading platform. And all we are is a membership club. So, a lot of people tend to complicate this. So really, if somebody asks you, who is TCC? The members are TCC. We participate in profit sharing, and we get to do that. And then Trade by Trade, the company, also gets to create revenue because they provide this platform. It's really not that difficult. But you can see that this is something that really only a few have had access to up until recently. And TCC is one of the platforms that is providing this opportunity to anybody who can come in here and come up with enough seed money. Right now, that means 0.06 Bitcoin. Now, if you come in with 0.06 Bitcoin, are you going to make a ton of money, guys, just through turning on your auto trader and then walking away? Well, no, right? You have to, have more leverage. The more leverage you have, the more capital you can get in here, the better your returns are going to be. Okay, so that's really something to make clear. But, we do have some different options for members, and let's talk about those right now. So as you can see, they have it here as 0.01 to 0.99, which is correct, right? Which is called the apprentice level. The trader level is 1 Bitcoin to 4.99, and the senior trader level is 5 Bitcoins. If you're asking how much that is, well, you have to look up the value of Bitcoin. You can get a rough idea if you just Google, the price per Bitcoin. But right now you're talking about 2,500 roughly per Bitcoin. So all you have to do is take 2,500 or whatever the amount is times 0.01 or times 0.43 or times 1.264, however much you want to put in. You can put as little as you want to put in down to that 0.01. What you will be including in that is the 0.05, okay? So that basically lets you have a complete business with a state-of-the-art back office. You get all the automated payouts that you get through Bitcoin. We get paid daily. We get paid instantaneously through some of the referral bonuses. You get to click a button and participate in trading. All of that for 0.05 Bitcoins, which comes out to about $120 or something like that. So, multi-million-dollar business opportunity for $120. Pretty good, right? Again, just like every opportunity, guys, it's what you make it. It's 100% what you make it. So if you come in here and you don't want to put a lot of Bitcoin into the platform and you don't want to put any effort into the team building side, well, then I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're going to become wealthy in 6 months' time. But if you do some of the techniques, you follow some of the strategies that some of the leaders have done that have come into this and have found success, then yes, there is a lot of potential, but it's based on how you leverage this platform. So we want to make that clear. Membership benefits right here. So what this is this is a usage contract, guys. So what you get to do is put Bitcoin into the platform. Again, you get to click a button. Remember when I was talking about time, right? Time being something to consider when you're talking about a good investment. Time is really important to consider as well, because if you can take 30 seconds out of your time and get any sort of decent returns through a platform, if you want to be a passive member, then really that is something that I see as incredibly valuable, because then you can go back to whatever it is you're doing, whatever other investments you have, whatever your day-to-day business is, and that investment is running for you, right? So that's why I really think it's important for people to focus on the value they're getting. A lot of people focus on what trade by trade gets from this, and that's kind of a way to look at the glass half empty, because you're just focusing on something that you wouldn't even have access to if this platform didn't exist. You didn't spend years coming up with this platform. You didn't invest money coming up with this platform. They did that. Now we get to come in and click a button, and we get to come out ahead at the end of the term, and they make some good profits and we make some good profits. It's a profit sharing community. So that's how it works. 12 months is how long you get to use the software if you come in at the trader level, and then the senior trader level is also 12 months. If you guys start at the apprentice level and then you add some more Bitcoin into the system, you can do that through compounding, you can do that through team building, or you can do that through adding outside Bitcoin. Well, guess what? They just add an extra 4 months onto your usage contract. It doesn't start over. They just add that extra 4 months on there, which I really love as well. And right here, guys, I'm going to go over this because there are a lot of quote-unquote surprises that seem to come into the mix here. Every membership pays a 25% trading fee every 4 months on the total gains of your trading account. Okay, so that's the new profits that you make on just trading. Where do they take that out of? They take that out of your trade wallet. So, guys, make sure that we go and spread the word that comes out of your trade wallet. So one of the things I make sure I educate people on now is to stop taking out your profits from your trade wallet at the 60-day mark of your cycle. That way it can build up in your trade wallet. TCC can get their 25%. You get to keep the 75% that you've already been paid. Everybody walks away happy and nobody's confused or discombobulated. So building a team, guys, is optional, right? It doesn't require you to put in more Bitcoin. It doesn't require you to be a quote-unquote promoter. It doesn't require you to buy a product every month. It doesn't require any of that stuff that maybe you have seen in previous affiliate platforms. It's simply a matter of if you decide to bring someone into the membership club, you get paid. You got to love that. There's 5 ways to earn, like I mentioned, guys. This does not include the trading, which is 6 ways, and it does not include the career plan, which is the 7th way. Remember I said 7 streams of income? Pretty awesome. Let's talk about the direct referral. Very simple. It's 10%, guys. Not to complicate it, it's 10%. It's that simple. You'll notice that there is a cap for every referral. What do you see that number as? 0.99 Bitcoins, right? So if you bring in your friend Joe and he puts in 15 Bitcoins and you're at the apprentice level, you're going to miss out on some Bitcoin. So you want to get up to the trader level before you bring Joe in who's going to put in 15 Bitcoins, okay? This trader level is pretty, it's pretty liberal in terms of what you can earn for putting in just a Bitcoin. You got to love that. But I mean, you can earn up to 4.99 Bitcoins for every referral. And there's no limit on how many people you can bring into this. So if somebody comes in for 50 Bitcoins, you could still be in here at the trader level. You know, you're talking about a couple $1,000s worth of Bitcoin to start your business. Not only are you not, it's not a startup cost, it's something that you're making Bitcoin on. You got to love a startup cost that gets paid back to you with interest over the term, right? And then you can also earn up to 4.99. So if somebody comes in for 100 Bitcoin, okay, yes, you're going to be missing out on some commissions here. So you want to get yourself up to the senior trader level. What I've been recommending is that people really ask themselves an important question. How much Bitcoin do I want to start with and why? Right? That's two questions. Sorry. But, you know, how much Bitcoin do I want to start with and why? Right? Why do you want to put in 0.1 Bitcoin? What's the purpose of this for you? What are you trying to get out of this platform? Okay? And it's really also important to ask the question, you know, do I want to start turning on my trading? So I use this contract. So I'm starting this usage contract. Do I want to trade on 0.01 Bitcoin? Why? Why would you want to turn on your trading at that point? You might want to wait until you get more into the system so you can get the most out of this usage contract. So that's really something to consider as well. If you guys are confused right now, if you're new to this, don't worry. It takes time to learn. You know, I've been in this for months now, guys, and every couple of weeks I learn something new about this platform. But just don't be stressed out. Just kind of take it all in one dose right now. Let it digest, and then later you can start to break it down, okay? Indirect referral, guys, really, really awesome. You can basically, let's talk about Joe again as the example. Our friend Joe, he comes in, he brings in another person. That person brings in another person. If you're an apprentice, guys, you will earn on the fourth level down what they come in for into this platform. So what they join this membership club for. So that's pretty cool. If you're the trader, it goes down to the 6th level. And if you're a senior trader, it goes down to the 8th level. If you guys are a business builder, let me tell you something right now. My indirect bonuses have outpaced my direct bonuses. So don't underestimate the power of getting yourself to the senior trader as quickly as you can, because those indirect bonuses, they do add up. I can promise you that. Team bonuses. This is the most powerful bonus within the short-term time frame of you building this business. I will tell you that. By far, I've earned the most commissions off this, but I'm most excited about the next bonus that I'll tell you about. But let's just focus on the team bonus here. So let's say you come in, let's just relate it to a sales team, right? Let's say you have your own sales organization. You have two teams, right? You have Team Blue and Team Red. Well, Team Blue is doing really well, and they're outpacing Team Red. At the end of the day, you get to get 10%, 8%, or 9%, or 10%, depending on which level you are at. Again, this is all dependent. What you can earn is dependent on which level you're at, of whatever the team that does less volume for the day generates. So it's very simple, right? Team Red comes back. They've done 50 Bitcoins that day. Good job, Team Red. Team Blues, they've only done 20. Well, guess what? You get 10% of what Team Blue did, and then that goes to 0. It starts over. It pulls that volume from Team Red. But guess what? You get to keep all that volume that Team Red has been accumulating. That just sits there, guys. It doesn't go away. Once that difference gets pulled away throughout the end of the day, that Team Red volume just sits there. And I like to call that uncashed checks. That's what I call that. I have people that have been sitting on millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin just sitting there, and they have uncashed checks, or really what I like to say is unsent Bitcoin, that they're doing nothing with. They have a potential to completely transform their life, but they've chosen not to participate in the business side, which is fine. That's completely up to them. I'm not trying to pressure anybody, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to look at that and know what they're giving up. quite honestly. Okay, so notice that these there are some stipulations here, just one. Basically, it says this bonus has a safety cap, okay, to create sustainability. Bear in mind, guys, everything that this company is doing in terms of the way they pay out the trading, the way they have the compensation plan set up, is to maintain sustainability. I've seen lots of platforms come and go over the past several months that were not legitimate. They did not have a sustainable platform, and they were not actually doing what they said they were doing. Well, TCC is not like that. So if you're all about get rich quick or the shiny object syndrome, and you like platforms that come and go within a matter of a few months because they make a bunch of false promises, TCC is not for you. But if you're interested in creating a home, a long-term sustainable home, which, like I tell people, I generated a residual income within 60 days flat using this platform. It's completely changed my life. Then TCC is a great home for you. But let's just go back to this. So it will never pay more than 45% in the bonus for the entering of each new membership. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind there as well. So they're not going to, give you over 45%. If one person comes in with 100 Bitcoins on the right, you're only going to get 45% of the team bonus for that one payout. So that is a limitation. But again, cup half empty, cup half full. That's up to you guys. The platform is what it is. We know what the system's all about now. And they have said in the terms and conditions they can't change the compensation setup for 10 years. They can't change it. They're legally obligated to maintain it what it is. So with that being said, now we have what we have, we know what we have, and we can choose whether or not we want to go out and make a life-changing decision to leverage this platform. Or we can focus on what we don't like, which is just kind of a big waste of time. All right, so the bonus residual, like I said, this thing's really exciting for me, guys, because if you've been in any other companies, have you guys ever been given what I like to call a guaranteed customer base? Not only a guaranteed customer base, but a guaranteed customer base that doesn't have to pull anything out of their pocket to buy their monthly product. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, TCC's figured out how to do this. And what they do is once somebody makes 0.25 Bitcoins, right, whether it's through the compensation, through the team building, or if it's through the passive side, no matter what it is, once they reach 0.25 Bitcoin, they are activated in your matrix. You can see right here. And what will happen is you will start getting paid 0.003 Bitcoin for each active member. Doesn't sound like a lot, right? But I can promise you it adds up. And the great thing about this monthly income is that it doesn't go away, and it tends to only get bigger and bigger and bigger over time. So while everybody else is running around trying to find the next best shiny object, I've been focusing on making a home with Tradecoin Club, and this bonus is starting to grow for me to really exciting heights. To that at the end of the month, I'm starting to get a paycheck in the form of Bitcoin at the end of the month that each month just keeps going up and up and up and up, because you get paid on people who are earning. Who's earning? Everybody's earning. You see how genius this is, guys? So there is a monthly fee that comes out. So let's not, get another quote unquote surprise. When you make 0.25, not only are you eligible to earn from this bonus, but you have to pay your monthly fee. That's how this bonus gets paid out. It's the network. It has nothing to do with the company. It's just the network making this bonus. This is going to the network. This is helping the community thrive. And I love that. I love this bonus. So it's a monthly fee at the apprentice level is 0.015. That comes out, again, only once you earn 0.25, so you're not taking out of pocket. At the trader level, it's 0.030. And at the senior trader level, you're going to pay that monthly fee of 0.045. Okay, guys? So again, is what it is. I love this bonus. I think it's incredible. And if you're a business builder, this thing's got to get you excited. The renewal team bonus is another incredible thing because the fact that we have a system where people can come in passively, right, as a customer and come out ahead at the end of the year, as opposed to most companies where they come out of pocket and then they end up quitting because they're tired of spending all the money on this product that they're required to purchase, right? With this platform, we have people that are making Bitcoin through the trading, which is really exciting. So at the end of their term, do you think they're more likely to continue with TCC by renewing? Well, absolutely. Well, guess what happens when everybody starts renewing at the end of the year because they love their home at TradeCoin Club? It's almost like getting the entire year over again for the people that renew. So you get to get paid all over again. It gets paid through direct, indirect, and team bonuses all over again. What other company, guys, have you seen something like this? This is absolutely powerful. This platform is going to change lives, guys. And if you're passive and you're watching this, maybe you're changing your mind that you might want to move towards this in a more business approach, right? But, again, we love the passive people. That's why this platform is as powerful as it is. But I will tell you this is gonna change more lives than anything I've ever seen. I truly believe. All right, so we do have a career plan, guys. I always give the example of my father. Hopefully he never watches one of these, but what I like to say is that, I remember back when I was younger, he would tell me how he's been at a company for 10 years. I believe it was 10 years, or it might even been 15 years, and what he got was 1 ounce of gold, right? We're talking about commuting 2 hours a day, working 12-hour to 15-hour days for 10 years. And the company said, hey, thanks for your time with us. We're going to give you 1 ounce of gold. Well, TCC has something that's a lot better than that. And we have a career plan. This is for people who plan on building a business here. This is for people who want to make TCC a home and a long-term sustainable business. And they have what's called the career plan. Okay, it's very simple, guys. There's 3 qualifications for it. You need 4 direct bonuses. 4 direct referrals. So 4 people that you actually invited in directly, that you actually brought into the membership club directly. 1 Bitcoin on the right and 1 Bitcoin on the left equals 1 cycle. And then this last part, qualification of the cycles, will be validated 35% of the volume of the cycles of its smaller team and 5% of its bigger team. Okay, I know it's confusing. I am going to shoot a video on this to kind of clarify, but I'm not going to go through the career plan. But let's just say there's all sorts of cool stuff, guys. I'm being flown out to Belize at the end of the month to go visit the corporate office. They're gonna put us up at a resort for a couple of days so we get to hang out, meet the team, meet the traders that monitor the trading platform. Just all sorts of cool stuff, guys. So I plan on coming back with all sorts of awesome little nuggets. And with that being said, guys, 1, 2, 3, TCC. Visit TradeCoinClub.com, guys, if you want to check out the career plan. Visit newwayearners.com/getting started. That is my step-by-step tutorial. It will be getting improved. We're always making improvements, trying to empower the team. You don't have to do the heavy lifting, guys. All you have to do is invite. The worst that somebody can say to you is no. It's pretty horrifying, right? Subscribe to my YouTube channel, guys. I do updated videos and stuff like that. newwayearners.com/YouTube. And then most importantly, right, if you are turning on your trade this week, don't forget to set your trade. Don't forget to turn on your trade risk today after 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That is California time, guys. If you don't know what time that is because you're coming in from some other part of the world, very simple. Take your smartphone, go to your world clock, and add San Diego, California. And then you will know that on Sunday, after 6 o'clock p.m., when your world clock that has San Diego on there says 6 o'clock, that 24-hour window is open. You can then turn on your trade risk. I always recommend double checking it. Click the button, double check it the next afternoon before that 24-hour window closes. The new website is fantastic, TradeCoinClub.com. And that's about all we got. That's the end of the presentation, guys. I'm going to stop my share. And hi, guys. All right, so we have just one question here. Loud and clear. Thank you, Elizabeth. That's not even a question. All right, so we will open up the floor. I appreciate all you guys. You know what I'd like to do, actually, since we have this going, is I'm going to stop this recording for